In today's video, I'll be showing you some tips and tricks on how to wash your Tesla Model 3 the right way. Let's kick off with talking about the products I'll be using for today's car wash. So first up, I've got a power washer, a snow cannon, a foaming shampoo for the snow cannon, a car wash shampoo, 2 buckets, 2 microfiber sponges, a microfiber mop, a windscreen and glass wiper, and a large microfiber cloth for drying the car. And I'll link some of these products in the description below if you'd like to check them out for yourself. So before I get started with the wash, I'm going to make sure that the car is in the car wash mode. So to do this, I'm going to go into settings, service, and into the car wash mode. Now this is a super cool feature as it ensures that your charge port stays locked, things like your automatic wipers are off, sentry mode is off so they don't trigger while the car is being washed. Alright, so I've got my gloves on and I'm ready to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the power washer to get rid of any initial layer of the dust and dirt from the car. And if you don't have a power washer, don't worry, you can just use a standard garden hose to just rinse it off. So let's get started. So now that my Tesla is nicely rinsed off, I'm going to get my snow cannon with some foaming shampoo inside, and what this will do is put a blanket of soap on the car which will help release and loosen any dirt and grit from the car. Now if you don't have a snow cannon, don't worry, it's not end of the world and you can jump ahead straight to the bucket wash part of this video. Honestly, the snow cannon bit is probably the most fun part of this whole car wash. So what we're going to do now is leave this for about 10 to 15 minutes, and this will help loosen off any dirt and grit from the car, and we'll come back and give it a nice rinse. So it's been about 10 minutes and our car is now ready to be rinsed off. Now with that rinse done, this pretty much wraps up the touchless part of this car wash. Now if your car isn't that dirty or if you're used to just washing it up frequently, you can just do this touchless car wash, give it a nice dry, and you'll pretty much be done. But if you've just come back from a long road trip like us, and if you want to give it that extra bit of clean, what we're going to do now is move on to the bucket wash part of this car wash. So let's show you what I'm working with here today. So I've got 2 separate buckets, one with some warm water and the car wash shampoo, another bucket with warm, clean water, 2 microfiber sponges, one for the panels of the car and one for the tires and the rims. And I've got another microfiber mop here, and I'll be using this for any windows and top of that glass sunroof, so it makes it easier to just reach across that windscreen. Now this is optional and you can just use the microfiber sponge that you'll be using for the panels for the windows and glass as well. Now the reason I'm using a microfiber sponge over any other normal sponge is because the hooks inside the microfiber actually pick up the dust and the grit off your Tesla, which will prevent any scratches to the paint, so that's quite important. So first up, I'm going to start off with cleaning the windscreen, the glasses and the glass sunroof with this mop. So I'm going to dunk it in the soapy water, give it a nice whack, and then just gently slide it across the windscreen and the rest of the glass panels. So when it comes to getting more soap, the first thing you want to do is dunk it back into the clean water bucket first. This will remove any dirt and grit and make sure that it doesn't mix with our clean soapy water mixture. Now just dump it back in the soap water and get on to doing the rest of the panels. So since it's a pretty hot sunny day here today, I'm going to make sure I rinse off these glass panels first before moving on to the rest of the car to ensure that the soap doesn't dry up. So let's give it a quick rinse. And now I'm going to follow the exact same process to clean rest of the panels of the car. So take my microfiber sponge for the panels of the car, dunk it in the shampoo water, and just clean one panel at a time. You don't have to go too hard, just give it a nice wipe all across the panel. Rinse it off in the clean bucket. Get some more soap and continue with the rest. And what you want to notice is that I'm actually cleaning the top panels first, because the lower you get, the more dust and dirt there is, so you want to leave that to the very last. So now that I've completely done my side, I'm going to come to the bottom part of the left side. Give it another nice rinse to get rid of all the grit, and carry on the same process for the rest of the car. So when you get to the front bumper, you might actually need an extra bit of pressure just to get rid of any bugs or any dirt remains from that front bumper. So don't be afraid, just give it a little squeeze and it should all come off nicely. You can see, thanks to the car wash mode, even though I'm pressing quite hard on the charge port, it's not opening up and it's locked. So such a nice feature to have. So now that all the panels are done, same thing, let's rinse it off before that soap dries too much, and then we'll proceed to the tires. Now the reason why I left the wheels to the very last is because that's normally the dirtiest part of the car. So you don't want to get that dirt back into a clean water and contaminate it and get that dirt back across the panels. So it's quite nice to just leave it to the last, and I like to use a separate sponge for it, just so it doesn't get as dirty as my main sponge for future uses. So I'm going to do the same process and clean all 4 wheels. Once that's done, give the wheels a nice rinse as well. So after having done all that, it's now time for our final rinse off. So after a final rinse, I like to make sure that my car is nice and dry. So for that, I've got 2 things. I've got a windscreen wiper, which I'll be using for all the glass panels, including the sunroof as well. And I've got a large microfiber drying cloth. Now the reason I'm using a microfiber drying cloth and not a chamois is because I want to make sure that if there is any remaining dirt or grit on the car, it doesn't scratch across the surface and leave any marks on my car. So that's the reason you want to be using microfiber, because it will pick up any remaining dirt and grit and not rub it across the surface. So let's get on to it. So now that my glass panels are all done, I'm going to use the microfiber cloth and make sure I dry up the glasses one more time and then do the rest of the car. You don't have to go too hard, just gentle movements sweeping across the body of the car, and that should get the job done. And there you go, that's all done. And you have yourself a nice shiny Tesla. So that's been a rundown of my car care routine for how to clean your Tesla Model 3. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and hit subscribe for more useful tips and tricks like this. And until next time, stay charged.